rolling.
Is cancel culture more harmful or beneficial?
I think it's more harmful just because I think it's forcing people to think more on this mob mentality.
It could be beneficial if it shows someone that their actions were wrong.
I don't think anyone should be completely canceled out of social media or of their fame just because a whole group of people want them to be canceled.
People do change, and I think that is hard for some people to realize. So, yeah.
If they change, then they shouldn't be hated on for that.
Is cancel culture good or bad?
I feel like most of the time cancel culture is bad.
Yeah, because it's toxic.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's a human being, and I don't think canceling them is good at all.
I feel like people just bully.
I feel like the whole approach is surrounded by negativity. And with that, it's usually not good for the person who's getting canceled or even the person who is canceling, if that makes sense.
What do you do when an influencer has a history of committing the same crime or offense over and over, but then it finally comes to light? How do you handle that?
If they have a history of doing it a lot, I feel like that does really need to be recognized, because if they're an influencer, they're also influencing little kids and stuff. And if they're putting out a bad influence, the little kids that watch their videos or whatever they do would just see, hey, they're doing that, maybe it's okay. It's not.
I think it's hard because to balance what is enough and what is showing grace, because we're supposed to show grace, but when do you decide enough is enough?
Right.
And that's a hard line. When do you know when it's been crossed? When do you know that, hey, they've changed?
Is saying sorry or making an apology video after being called out enough?
No.
It's the work.
A lot of influencers, after they do something, but after they get all the hate, and everyone's no, that's wrong, and people telling them it's wrong.
Most of the time it just feels like they had to say sorry.
Yeah.
It's not
an
genuine.
obligation.
Yeah.
They put out that apology crying video, and then we're all no, you're sorry because an entire group of people just came after you for saying something that you shouldn't have said.
Yeah.
They put the eye drops in, makes it look like they're trying.
Or they have the sad music in the background. You're stop.
Yeah, it kind of goes along with the saying, actions speak louder than words.
Right.
You can say you're sorry all you want, but until you start acting out that apology, when does it become real?
Yeah.
Exactly.
If Jesus calls us to forgive, should Christians participate in cancel culture?
I think everyone is worthy of forgiveness. And so personally, cancel culture isn't the way to go about it. I think if they address their own mistakes and sins, okay, that's awesome of you, but I don't ever feel like it's my place to be that's your mistake, that's your sin, that's your problem.
I tend to cancel people when I know they've done something wrong, and I forget to forgive. And I forget that I've made the same mistake.
Yeah, I think sometimes we forget that we have the ability to forgive. We're oh, I could never forgive that person for whatever they've done to me. I think that's where God comes in. He can give us the ability to forgive, because sometimes we cannot do it by ourselves.
I don't really ever forget to forgive anyone. I'm just if someone asks for forgiveness, I'm okay. I don't know, I just don't really care that much. If someone did something that offended me, I'm just oh, cool.
I'm the same way as you. I always forget that, like you said, that I'm able to forgive, especially in the heat of the moment. I don't want them, I don't want anything to do with them, and I get hurt. I'm a very sensitive person. I get hurt easily, and so when someone hurts me time and time again, that I want to cancel them as soon as possible. But then I realize that people can change, so I need to be able to forgive if they are willing to.
I think there's a difference between canceling and distancing.
Yeah.
If there's someone on social media that I want to cancel, I'll just unfollow them and stop looking at their page. Or even in real life, if you have a toxic friendship, don't cancel that person and make everyone in your life turn against them, but just say, maybe we shouldn't be friends, and just distance yourself.
if Jesus can forgive me for everything that I did, then maybe I need to check my heart and realize that I should be able to forgive other people.
What does it look like to give people grace to grow and mature beyond their flaws?
Just recognize that they're trying. At least they're trying to do something to improve and not stay the same old person they were.
Yeah, I think addressing the problem with them, if they don't know what they're doing, then we can't just cancel them because they aren't aware of what they're doing. But I think address it, and then if they're willing to fix it, walk with them through that. And then if they're not willing to fix it, love from a distance, like you said.
I think one big thing that people don't do when they're like helping toxic people or something is focus on themselves still, because they still need to be able to have time for themselves to heal from whatever happened. Because some people really do try to change, and they should be recognized for that.
It's always okay to sit someone down and say, look, this that you're doing right here is hurting me. And if it continues, we're gonna have some problems within our relationships. And now we gotta figure out what we're gonna do so that we don't have any more bumps in the road. And it's always okay to just let them know. And it doesn't have to be in a mean way.
It has to be healthy. If it's just bashing and hating them, I don't think that's healthy at all, but it still happens. So I think the communication between them has to be healthy for it to do any good.
I always have a really hard time believing that people can change for the better, but I don't know. I guess this conversation kind of showed me that people are able to change. It just takes time.